Everyone, this is Joy. Today I like to show you guys how to build a very cool dashboard on a very powerful data visualization tool called Google Data Studio. So let's just get started. First of all, I want to show you guys the dashboard that I've built before using Google Data Studio to give you guys a brief overview of what kind of functions that Google Data Studio has and what kind of dashboard that you could build here. So this dashboard consists of a few, charts, which I will introduce in the following tutorial. And each chart serves as a filter. For example, right now I'm looking at this geo chart of New York area, and I'm just really curious of what kind of purchase behavior that people from New York have. So I'm gonna click right here, and the rest of the charts will only reflect the information of New York customers. And now I'm looking at this chart which shows the percentage of top division of customers' first purchase. So I noticed that New York customers like to purchase latest shoes for the first time. And I'm also really curious, like, what exact brands that they've purchased for the first time. So I am gonna click here. And then the information is gonna reflect here. So this chart will show you that what are the top brands that customers have purchased, which is really cool. So if you want to explore more, for example, here's Chanel. Like, you want to know customers who are from New York and who purchased Chanel lazy shoes for the first time, what kind of behaviors that they have. You could also click here and explore more. But if you want to go back, you could just click reset here. Yeah, then your dashboard will go back. So right next, I am just gonna teach you guys how to build a dashboard like this from scratch. So first of all, you have to go to Google Data Studio. Let's go to Google Data Studio. Well, so if you have a Google account, like a Gmail account, you could just register for free. And since I've already registered, I am just gonna click the blank report and build from scratch. So before we start building the charts, Google Data Studio is gonna ask us to connect Google Data Studio to your data source, and there are a few different ways, such as Google Analytics, SQL, and you could also upload your own file. Here I am just gonna connect this to my Google Sheets because it's easy for me to update the data. I'm gonna click here, and I'm gonna use customers data, which is the one that I've prepared before. Also, I'd like to show you guys my underlying data. So this is the customers data. This has the customer ID, email opt-in, customer city, customer state, and customer country. On top of this, these columns are showing you the customer's purchase behavior. So this is the customer first purchase day, last purchase day, first purchase date, and then this is a 3-month flag. So if the flag is true, it means that the time period between customer's first purchase and customer's second purchase is less than 3 months. So this could tell you the purchase frequency of the customers. And then these columns are showing you the sales of customer in the last 12 months and last 13 to 24 months. And then these are the top purchase brand and purchase division during customer's first purchase and customer's last purchase. So this is a brief overview of this data. Let's go back to our report. So this option is asking me whether I'd like to use first row as headers. Of course, my answer is gonna be yes, because this is my first row and I want to use them as the headers. Let's add right here. Okay, so here is our here's a canvas and we're gonna build all the charts on this canvas. So before we start, building the charts, if you want to change the size of the canvas, you could go to page and current page settings and click the style. You will see the canvas size where you could click drop down, and there are a few different sizes. Actually, my favorite would be the landscape, because it's like really wide. When I present to my customers, I don't need to scroll down, and I could also show all the information. So for this tutorial, I'm gonna use this one. Alright, so I just changed the canvas size. At the same time, I'd like to change the theme because I like the background to be black. I think it's really cool. So I'm changing to the black background. Alright, so we've already set up the canvas. Let's start building the charts. For this chart, I don't need it, so I am gonna I'm gonna delete this one for sure. But before we build everything, I would also recommend you to edit the data source, because sometimes the data type might be wrong. So let's click here. This column is data field and this column is type. So the first one is 12-month flag and the type is month. So the month type is essentially the date type, but this is obviously not right. As I mentioned before, this is like a flag. It should be the text type. So I'm gonna change it to text type. Google Data Studio can really make mistakes when it assigns the data type to your data field, because most of the time it just make assumptions based on the names. In this case, we just need to make sure that each data field has the right data type. Let's check the rest of the data fields. Okay, here 3-month flag should be text too. And the customer's date shouldn't be text, should be geographic data. Let's give it to city. Okay, so the rest should be good. So after we're done, we could just click down right here. Okay, so we've set up the data source, and now we can finally start to build the charts. So the first chart that I want to build is the scorecard. There are two kinds of scorecard. So this one shows the numbers, shows the compact numbers. And for this tutorial, I want to use this one because I will display the sales. Normally the sales data is really large. So using the compact numbers will make it prettier. Let's just click here and drag to the place where I want to display. So this right side will show you the elements that you need to edit this chart. The first one is date, range, dimension. However, normally you will need this to change the date range, but for this data, the sales is totally independent of the date. So I'm just gonna delete this one. For the metric, because I'm gonna display the sales, the metric will be the sales in the last 12 months. And you could click here to edit, this data field. First of all, you could change the name. I am gonna change the name to last 12-month sales. And you could also change the aggregation type. There are various aggregation type, such as sum, average, and count. In this case, I'll just, let it stay as sum, because I want the sum of all the sales. Here, you could change the type of the data. Well, since it's sales data, I want to change it to USD currency. All right, so we've changed, all these elements here, and when I'm looking at this chart, I don't think it's that pretty because the background is black and it has this kind of gray background, and it's not really a good match, right? So I am going to change the style here. So if you click the chart, it's gonna show you the two fields, data and style, and I'm gonna go to the style. Here, I could change the background and the border. I am gonna change the background to transparent and the border to transparent too, so that they can blend into, blending with this black background. As for the name, I want the name to be at the center. So I'm gonna keep the name as center and change the label size. I want the label to be 30 px. Okay, our first chart has been built, and now let's build our second chart. The second chart is gonna be scorecard 2, but it's gonna display the sales in the last 13 to 24 months. Basically, it's a year before last year. So just as we did before, let's drag this field to here, to the metric, and change the name. I'm gonna change the name to last 13 to 24 month sales. And display the type as USD currency. I am also going to, make the name at the center and change the background and the border to be transparent to make this blending with the black background. Oh, I also need to change the label size to be 30 px. Great. Now we finished the two scorecards. Next, I want to build a pie chart to show the percentage of the customers who have opted the email, which is a very important information, right? Let's add a pie chart. For this one, I'm gonna add a donut chart here. For the dimension, it's gonna be email opt-in. And the metric should be record count because we want to know how many customers. Let's adjust the size a little bit and then change the style. I want the background and the border to be transparent. Okay, it looks good. Also, it seems that all the customers have opted in the email, which is really good. So this chart doesn't really have a name, and I am gonna, make a name for it. So I'm gonna use the text box, and the name's gonna be email opt-in. And I am going to display the name right in the center of this chart. Let's make it a little bit smaller and fitting here. Okay, it looks good. Next, I am going to build a geo chart which could, show where the customers are located. Let's click add a chart. And here is the geo chart. I'm going to display here. So when we're looking at the geo dimension, we notice that the dimension is a country and only United States is blue. It means that all the customers are from United States. However, I want to know a bit more details, like where they're located, like in terms of states, right? So I am gonna change the dimension to state. And I want the metric to be record count because I want to know how many customers in each state. Alright, it seems that most customers are from either New York or California. Okay, I am going to change the style too. This one is done. Next, I am going to build a scatter plot to show, the sales and number of customers in different regions. Let's try to find a scatter plot. So here's scatter, and I'm gonna try to get the scatter plot and drag here. So for the dimension, it's gonna be state because I'm curious about the sales and the number of customers in each state. So matrix X is sales last 12 months, and I want to change its name to last 12 month sales, just to be consistent with the names here. And also I want the data type to be USD currency. As for the record count, I'm gonna change it to number of customers on top of this, we can also code the bubble size. So I want the bubble size to reflect the number of the customers. So I'm gonna drag the number of customers right here. In this case, the bigger the bubble size is, the more customers are in that state. In order to make it prettier, I am going to change the background to be transparent. As for the border, I want it to be blue. Actually, let me see, check it again. All right. So next, I am going to build a pivot table. So you scroll down here, and here is a pivot table. I'm gonna click here and drag right here. Well, for this pivot table, I want to know like in each city, like the customer number and the sales in the last 12 months. So for the dimension, I am gonna change it to customer city. So this is a row dimension. As for column dimension, I don't want it. Let me just delete right here. For the metric, so first of all, this is a record count. Yeah, this is the one that I want, but I am going to change the name to number of customers. And also I want to add one more metric, which is sales in the last 12 months. And I'm going to change the name to be last 12 12-month sales and change the data type to be USD currency. Alright, so perfect. Now we can change the style. I'm going to change the border and the background to be transparent. Great, now we finished building the first few charts. Next, I'm going to build the pie charts. I always love pie charts because pie charts could, reflect so much information. For this pie chart, I am gonna show what percentage of each division and each brand that customers have bought. So for the first chart, I am gonna show when customers purchase for the first time, what percentage of the division that they've purchased at. So for the dimension, it's going to be first purchase division. For the metric, it's going to be record count because I want to know how many customer. Alright, let me change the style too. This looks really good. Next, I am going to build another pie chart which could reflect the percentage of the brands that customers purchase for the first time. So for the division, it's going to be first purchase top brand right here. I'm not going to change the metric. The only thing I'm going to change here is the style, including the background and border as I did before. Okay, so these two are showing the information for the first purchase. Now I want to know the information of last purchase. Let me just add two more charts right here. Okay, so I think these charts are taking a little bit too much space, so I am going to move them up a little bit and adjust their size. You could always adjust their size when you finish building all of them, because until then you would have like an overview of how many charts that you have and how much space that each chart is gonna take. But this one I'm just gonna adjust a little bit, and once we finish building all the charts, I'm gonna edit that again. Okay, so for the dimension, it's going to be the last purchase division right here, and the metric is going to be record count. And of course, I am going to change the background and the border too to make it pretty. So let me build the last one, which is gonna reflect percentage of the top brand of the last purchase. So the dimension is gonna be this one, and the metric is gonna be record count. And let me change the style real quick. Alright, so we've viewed these 4 pie charts, and they kind of look, a little bit clustered, So I want a cross, to separate them. You can draw the line using a line here, And I'm gonna draw here, start from the left all the way to the right. At the same time, I'm gonna change the color to be blue because it's gonna match the other color. Sometimes I think, you know, if you want to make it pretty, the color is very important. And change the size to be 1. And I need one more vertical line right here. Let me change the color and the size too. Okay, now they look pretty good. At the same time, the audience might don't know, what each chart is representing, or what information that each chart is displaying. In this case, it's better for us to add a name for each chart. So I am going to add a name here. For the first one, it's gonna be first purchase top division, and I'll adjust the location here. And the second one is going to be first purchase top brand, and I want 2 more at the top, at the bottom right here. Let me just move it up a little bit. So the bottom charts are reflecting the last purchase. Let me change them to last purchase, division, and brand. So it's gonna be last purchase, brand. All right, this looks good. So we've, finished building the 4 pie charts. At the same time, I've noticed that we could actually group, the 4 pie charts together, just in case when we're adjusting one chart, and then we're gonna break the whole group. So let me select all of them. And group them. Perfect. Now we've grouped them together. So if now we want to, move them, let's try to move. It's hard. We can move, we can move them as a whole, which is great. Perfect. Okay, let's build our next chart, which is a time series chart. So let's add right here. And drag the time series chart here. For this time series chart, I want to know, the relationship between customers' first purchase date and customers' purchase in the last 12 months. Because I noticed that in some certain years, customers tend to be more loyal, which is something I really want to explore. So for the dimension, I am going to use customer's first purchase date. First purchase date is right here. For the metric, it's gonna be sales in the last 12 months, which is good. Let me just change the name to be consistent with other charts. Last 12-month sales. and the data type will be USD currency. So this is the time series chart, and I will also change the style. I want the background to be transparent, and I want the border to be blue. Okay, and next I am going to build two pie charts to reflect the customer's purchase frequency. So the dimension is going to be 12-month flag, and the metric is going to be record count. This is showing how many customers, like what percentage of customers have purchased within 12 months. And the second, well, I'll also change the style to be transparent in border and background. Then build one more chart to reflect 3-month flag. Okay, let's change the dimension here to be 3-month flag, and the metric to be record count. Of course, I'll change the style too. So there are two pie charts that are reflecting the customers' purchasing frequencies. Meanwhile, I will add them, add a name for each of them because it's hard for audience to understand what information that it is displaying. So I'm gonna change the name to be first one 3-month, 12-month flag. And the second one is going to be 3-month flag. So 3-month flag. Also, these two pie charts are a set too. They're both reflecting the purchase frequency. So I'm going to add a line to separate them, but also group them together. All right, this looks really good. So overall, we've finished building, all the charts. But remember, when I was showing you my previous dashboard, I mentioned that each chart could serve as a filter. So how that works, then it's it's my final trick. So you just go to the charts and scroll all the way down here, and here is the interaction. So you could click apply filter, and then this chart will be used as a filter, and then you could apply it to all the charts. So I'm going to apply it to all the chart. Apply filter. Apply filter. Oh, so I have grouped them. In this case, I am going to ungroup them and apply the filter for each of them. Apply filter. Okay, this looks really good. And I am going to regroup them again, because they're a set, and it's better to group them together. So now they're grouped, and I'll group this too. I'll just select all of them. Group. Let me see what I can move. Yes, I can move this. This looks good. And let me just, make this a little bit bigger to take more space. And then I'm going to adjust this too. Alright, so at this point, we've finished building this reports, and now we can click the view. And just as we did before, let's click New York. See, the rest of the charts are reflecting this information, and we could just play around with this dashboard and explore the data. So this is all for today's tutorial. If you like it, please share it to others, or subscribe to my channel. Thank you.